That's my opinion. So let me share my opinion on what Phil Holloway just said. So if you're just joining us, yesterday, the short version is yesterday, Brian Steele, the attorney for Young Thug, there's a big RICO trial going on in Fulton County for YSL. They're a rap organization, a rap label, according to some, a organized gang, murderous gang, according to the prosecutors. Well, as Phil described, real quick, let me just tell you if you're just joining us, the judge, the prosecution's witness, his attorney, and the prosecutors had a meeting. And the defense attorneys for the other people, this is a RICO case. Nobody was invited. And the judge held Brian Steele, the attorney for Young Thug, who's at the top of this RICO charge, a RICO case. He said they held him in contempt because he wanted to find out he knew what was said. He knew a bunch of particulars. The judge held him in contempt because he wouldn't disclose who told him. That's the gist of it. Here's why this is so important to the Georgia election and the re-election of former President Donald Trump, as he is being prosecuted by the same office in Fulton County Court. Same court, different judge, but the same court, same legal apparatus. Here's why it's important. A bunch of conservatives who would not normally pay attention to this trial, and if they did, would see Young Thug and his defendants as, yeah, they're a gang. Of course, they're a gang. Oh, yes, unless they were young hip hop fans. But if they are 45 plus regular conservatives, they would not care. But because it's the same courthouse, the same prosecutor, the same district attorney's office that's prosecuting Donald Trump, many Trump supporters who are not normal rap fans are paying attention to this YSL case because it's the same DA. And there's a prosecuting attorney that's the head of the prosecution of YSL, Attorney Love, who has been having issues throughout this trial. And many conservatives see this as the same office. So it's not D.A. Willis. It's the prosecuting office of Fulton County. And it's the courts in Fulton County. And so what's going on here, when they saw this yesterday, what you're seeing is a whole bunch of Trump supporters, not African-American, but Trump supporters, who are now looking at the injustice, and I'm doing air quotes, that's being levied on this big case against young African-Americans. And they're rallying around Young Thug and his defendants because they see the same unfairness from the same courthouse and the same prosecuting attorney's office, the Fulton County DA's office. They see the unfairness happening to their guy. So what you see happening from last night, around 6, 7 o'clock last night, going forward to now, 9 o'clock in the morning, you see two disparate groups. Young African-American Young Thug fans who have been following this case since the first arrest to now, looking in agreement at an unjust, unfair criminal justice system with middle-aged white conservatives who like Trump. And so they're looking at the same system. And they're seeing that the same system can go after someone if they want to target them. And is bringing them closer and closer together, which is going to have a ripple effect going forward in November. You know why this is happening? Because everything's on the internet. See, the internet is the great raising of the shades, raising of the curtain, raising the curtain on transparency. If you're airing these court cases live on the internet, people are watching. And more people are interested than would normally be interested because you have a group of people interested in YSL case because they're hip-hop fans, the Young Thug fans. Killer Mike has voiced about there was an argument early on where they said it was okay to go after the lyrics of Young Thug to be used in this case. That impacted all hip-hop fans. That impacted all artists, whether you rap or sing or whatever. No artist says, well, wait a minute, you can't use my words, my song against me in a criminal court case. So it rallied a bunch of people around them. Then you have Trump, people watching this Trump case, which is bringing eyes to Fulton County courts, Fulton County DA's office. So you have a bunch of people who would normally not know who the heck and wouldn't care who Fonnie Willis is, now know her. And it's the same office. So now you're bringing these two disparate groups, young African-American hip-hop fans and middle-aged conservative white guys. And they're looking at the same system come at their favorite person, and they're not liking it. And when election time rolls around in November, don't be surprised if you see many of these two groups of people from different points of view, from different points in their lives, from different occupations, all going to the polls and voting for the same guy because they see that guy being mistreated in the same way that they see a young thug and his co-defendants being mistreated also. As Phil Holloway said, no matter what you feel about this case or Trump or any other criminal case, if you watch enough Matlock like I do, you know the judge is not allowed to say, hey, Deborah Green, you're the prosecutor. Hey, defendant and your attorney, and 4 people or 20 people or 5 people, but multiple people are on trial. You guys come into my office. Don't tell those guys. I watch Matlock every afternoon. I watched Law and Order for 23 years. From the very first episode to now, 23 years later, I've watched every episode of Law and Order probably 15 times. Some of them I've watched so much I can say the dialogue. If you watched enough legal drama, you know judges can't do that. Doesn't take a law degree to tell anybody that judges can't do that. And recognize, because she's the head of the Criminal Defense Association in Georgia, Ashley Merchant, who's prominent in the Trump case, is representing Brian Steele in his contempt of court case. It all ties together, and in the end, it's going to burn the Democrats here in the state of Georgia, because they've just brought 2 vocal, fiery groups who love their guy together on one issue. We don't trust you guys. Shelley Winter in for Mark Arum. We'll be right back.